Hey, welcome back to another video. As you can see, I had to go ahead and switch the angle, man. I was looking at the upright angle. It didn't look too good, so I'm just gonna have to settle for this angle, whether it look good or whether it look bad. But today's video, I'm gonna be covering. So remember, I told you guys, one of my first rant videos was about women. Now, I told you I wasn't gonna be biased. It wasn't gonna be one of these channels where I bash women and men can do no wrong. Nah. I'm all about what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And if it's right and if it's wrong, it needs to be addressed and it needs to be called out. So today, what I'm calling out, right? So I'm up here at my job, right? And I see this every day, and not just today specifically, but today, right? So it's a younger guy, maybe 20 years old, 21 years old, college student, and it's like, what I be trying to get people to understand is like, okay, you have a rhythm, you know what I mean? You have a rhythm that's developed from you doing something so often. So if you're doing a job every day and the responsibilities of that job does not change week to week, day to day, I mean, you would think that at some point you will be able to catch on to what it is you need to do, not necessarily being perfect at it, but kind of understanding the simple aspects of it, right? So we're doing something that's so simple. So I'm gonna say it this, So I work at Lowe's. I work at Lowe's retail store. I'm pretty sure most of you people who have homes are familiar with that. So I'm a department supervisor there. I'm not gonna say which one, but I'm a department supervisor there. So we have a thing called Code 75. So Code 75, for those who don't know, is all available associates that's not assisting the customer come out front to come pull carts in. Pulling carts in is like one of the simplest jobs. All it really takes is two people, and you can get a parking lot cleared out in maybe 30 minutes. Like, realistically, I'm talking about from the actual lumber carts to the garden center carts to the actual regular shopping carts that the average associate comes in and get. It can be done so quickly. But I'm having to instruct him, which they don't. Now, I know some of y'all might be like, well, maybe he's new. No, this dude has been here for months now. He worked in lumber and he worked in my department under me. He's been here for months. So it's like, he's doing everything that I'm doing. So if he see me going to go get these carts, he walks over there. So I'm telling him, I'm saying, hey man, let's work smart and get this stuff done, fast. So I'm like, you work on that side of the store and line those carts up, and I will line the ones up on this side, and we can connect them, and we just one run or maybe two runs in. So it's like I'm having to direct him to do every single thing. So in my mind, I'm looking like, so if I'm not out here, you and whoever else will be out here making a 20-30 minute some task last damn near hour and a half, just because of not using simple, time management, or even just having a visual of what to do that comes from, working, and not just, not just working, but in life. So it's just like the men that exist today, and I get from that to get to this. So as I'm doing that, I'm just observing him, right? That I'm having to literally dictate and tell this dude exactly what to do with something as simple as pulling in fucking shopping carts. This isn't throwing up no freight. This isn't being able to pull up a customer's order without a receipt. Like, this is something that's so fucking simple that I would think that the average associate would be able to do, even if it's your first day here. Like, my thing is this, I'm visual, right? So if I'm doing something, I'm looking at the guy in front of me. So I'm looking at him and I'm saying, okay, he's getting those carts over there. So common sense will say, let me get these carts, because there ain't no sense in both of us being over there, because at that point, we're working on top of each other. So if he get that together and I get this together and we combine them, we're in and out. We ain't got to be out here. So that helps out whenever it's the summertime and it's 100-some degrees and we got there trying to do that. Or if it's the wintertime like it is now and it's 20-some degrees and we out here doing that. So, you know what I mean? So it's all about working smarter, not harder. When you do stuff like that, those take 3 buggies in, take 4 buggies in, take 5 buggies in. And keep in mind, customers are still steady shopping and pulling buggies out. That shit take all fucking day. And then you got responsibilities in your department that you're lacking of doing. So now we're going to jump back onto this topic, right? So the thing goes around that they say that the women today are like men. And my thing is this. For the longest, I held some type of animosity towards it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Man, the women, they dogs, they just like men. They play on you. That's this, that, and the third. So, okay, one, if you go back since the beginning of time, it was always men playing on women, right? But if you look back at the traditional men, right? The men from the 80s, or the 70s and the 60s, like those type of men were the men that My wife, you're a woman. I'm not saying that I'm not one of those people that believe that a woman's place is at home. That's not me. I'm just letting y'all know. But I'm just speaking of in terms of that time, at that time. So it was, woman, you stay home. You take care of the kids. You hold down the home responsibilities, which is cooking, cleaning the house, making sure the kids are bathed and clothed, making sure the kids are getting a good education. Those are the woman's thing. The man thing is to go out and come and provide, and and keep a roof over our head, keep the lights on, keep air in the summer, heat in the winter, have a car. That's what the man job is. So regardless of what I got going on in my personal life as a man, this has to happen because I got the X, Y, and Z depending on me. I got my son, my daughter. If you have multiple sons, if you have multiple daughters, these people are depending on me. So regardless of how I feel mentally, I have to be able to come to my job and perform. Despite how I feel physically, I have to be able to come to my job and be able to perform. So it goes to, you have to wire yourself mentally as a man to say, I can't be governed by my emotions. I'm going to repeat that. I can't be governed by my emotions. What does that mean? Well, my wife make me mad. Oh, well, I don't want to go to work now. Or if my boss say something to me, oh, I don't want to go to work now. Or if I feel like they making me do too much work, I don't want to go to work now. And then when I do go to work, I'm complaining to anybody that'll listen. Man, we don't get paid enough. Man, I don't just, man, it ain't my, you know what I mean? It's just constant complaints and just constant excuses. Man, as a man, you're supposed to eliminate excuses because at the end of the day, it's all about setting an example, right? So for my kids, I can't let my kids see me crying about every fucking thing. So even if something bothers me and I feel some type of way about it, I can't let my emotions govern me, and I have to stay cool and composed and collected. That's just like if it's a tough time where a family is going through hard times, tough times, and you looking at your kids, they're not as strong spiritually, so they're breaking. You're looking at your wife, she's at the verge of breaking. You have to be the source of glue that keeps everything stuck together. You have to be that. Prime example. So we're going to get into why women are the way they are nowadays. My grandmother, prime example, right? My grandmother has lost, pretty much all of her siblings besides one. She only has one uncle left. Well, my uncle, but one brother left, right? So, but over the years of her losing her brothers, over the years of her losing cousins, family members and all, she has always been that glue that's kept everything together. She's the one who normally is over Christmases. She's the one who's over Thanksgiving giving instructions. She's a preacher, by the way, too. She goes to church. She prophesied to this group of people, to that group of people. Everybody's coming to her with their problems, but she has nobody to go to other than God, by her being a God-fearing woman. She don't have the human form to go to because she's always having to be the glue that keeps everybody together, that keeps everybody patched together, right? So why is it a woman, not saying that it shouldn't be, but why is it that she has to be that? Why couldn't any of the sons step up and say, I'm stepping in that role. Let me take care of this, mama. You done this for X amount of years. I got this now. I got this. And I got it while you here, not after you gone, so I can give you your flowers while you can smell them and show you, hey, mama, this is what I learned from you over the years. Hey, mama, this is what I have done by being under your guidance, and and having your guidance guide me through life, having your wisdom whenever I'm going through things. Let me show you that through my actions, right? Why does it have to be she's still doing that to the point to where she physically can't anymore, but she still has to push past? Because guess what I say about a man, you can't be governed by your emotions. So that's my grandmother. You see what I'm saying? So it goes down to it boils down to, there isn't any men. It's a very select few. I would say maybe out of 85% of the men on this world, I would say 25% of them are maybe men. No, that's 15%. If it's 85%, that's 15. I was never good at math, you know what I mean? But hold up, 85, that's 15%, right? Hey, at the end of the day, I think it is 15%. But the other 15%, it's only, those are the real men. Those are the ones that make the tough decisions. Those are the ones that's the leaders. Those are the ones that can go to a job regardless of how they feel about their store manager, or not their store manager, who's ever over them, because they know that it's deeper than just them. Even if you don't have kids, you're setting up for a future for kids. So every minute of your life as a man should be lived towards working towards something. So you got, it's not just the financial aspect of it, right? So a lot of people get so caught up in just the financial aspect and don't understand that the mental is probably way more important than the financial. Because you can have a lot of money in the world and be mentally and emotionally immature and find yourself in a whole bunch of situations that you never should have been in. You know what I mean? But if you're able to be financially, mentally and spiritually mature at a younger age, it gets you to the riches, for one, because you don't bypass opportunities because you're still stuck in a boy's mindset. You're still stuck in a crew's mindset. You're still stuck in the homie's mindset. You're still stuck in a gangbanger's mindset. You see what I'm saying? So it's preventing you from making those leaps necessary for you to be who you need to be. So it's not just financially, right? So when you live in your life in that manner of trying to accumulate and trying to grasp, that's where the wisdom and the guidance and all that stuff comes into play. Because like I said, look at me. I grew up, my mom, single parent household for the most part. I had both. My dad was active. My dad was around. I don't say active, he was around. I could physically see him and touch him from time to time, but he wasn't around consistently and he wasn't around as a man, right? So what you see in front of you in this video and any other videos that you watch, or if you ever meet me in person, that's not a byproduct of my dad. And if I do say it's a byproduct of him, it's because he wasn't there. So I had to learn this stuff. Right? I would much rather have had him there to teach me and to guide me and to be there whenever I'm going through things. Like, that's why I have to make this YouTube channel, because I don't have that source of venting like how I want to have that source of venting. And then the people that I do have, they can't really have a intellectual conversation, especially the men, if it ain't got nothing to do with bitches or if it ain't got nothing to do with drugs. 9 times out of 10, real talk. If it ain't got nothing to do with bitches or with drugs or with some materialistic shit, cars, chains, clothes, shit that don't fucking mean the fucking thing, you can't have they're surface level thinkers. You see what I'm saying? So it takes me having to come on here and be able to vent and hoping that this can grasp onto the right person and we can become a form of communication for each other for somebody who's feeling confused like me. But to get back to what I was saying, right? So the men, it's like, if you look at, especially in black families, I'm gonna say black families. I mean, I'm a black man. I've predominantly been around black families, but it's just like I say, when you look at most black families, right? I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, your uncles are staying with a woman. Whenever your uncles leave their house, they leave their house with a woman. So that means the woman is the breadwinner. So that means you come into a situation where the woman has the car, the woman owns the apartment. The woman, she pretty much dictates everything. She dictates how much you go around your family. And you can't be mad because I'm the breadwinner. I pay the bills in this motherfucker. So you goddamn right. What I say is law. Yeah, all you good for is fucking. It's good dick. That shit gonna blow out after a while. At some point, she gonna want more than that. She gonna want, dick can't lead a family. Dick can't guide a young man or a young woman. Dick can't do that. All Dick can do is self-please. And if that's the case, all Dick can do is please. And if all you're looking for is pleasure, then you can self-please. You see what I'm saying? And not have to worry about your kids not getting the lessons that they need to get from a boy that's pretending to be a fucking man. Because you got a lot of guys out here, they playing men. They boys, but they playing men. So that what I mean by playing men, they shacking up, living with a woman, ain't paying a motherfucking thing, ain't fixing nothing in the house, don't got no good financial guidance on how to build credit or how to establish some, aren't good leaders. And if the woman do got kids, they ain't no type of guy that you would want leading your goddamn babies. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem that we run into. It's not that women are more like men. Fuck them talking about some of the Steve Harvey think like a man. Man, that ain't got shit to do. You got some weak ass men. The weak men don't exist no more. Well, it's a very select few of them that do. And then it's like, even if you go back into I'm not one of those big conspiracy people, but I do believe that there sometimes are things being pushed, right? So that's just like, the world now is so sensitive. Like, even when you look at stand-up comedy, we live in a world now to where you can't say things like retarded. You can't say things like faggot. You can't say things like bitch. You can't say things like hoe. You can't say things like slut. You can't say things like nigga. You can't see things, none of that, because it's all about not offending people. I'm talking about, these are grown men and women that we're talking about not offending. We're not talking about the kids. We're talking about people. So in return, it's almost like now you can't even be honest with a person like how you could be. So it's like, if a person is doing wrong and they're walking in the wrong spirit, you wrong for calling them out on the shit. You supposed to just sit there and let a motherfucker do whatever. Or you supposed to sit there and listen to a motherfucker vent to you and tell you how to, it's the white man fault of who hold me back. He ain't doing this and that to giving me the opportunities when they got an opportunity to work a full-time job with good pay, with dental insurance, with health insurance, with fucking, some of them might even have life insurance, you know, and you looking at their schedule and them motherfuckers late every other day. And I ain't talking about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm talking about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 late, not punctual. They don't come to work well represented. They don't do their job well when they're at work, but then they crying and bitching and saying, man, life is hard. I got this dude, I got that dude, and I just applied for this management position at my job and they ain't give it to me. Well, you goddamn right they ain't give it to you, nigga. Look at how many days you been late. Look at how you come to work. Nigga, tell me something about your job that you know or that you do. Tell me about a routine that you have in process to try to mitigate something, whatever it is, or to try to increase something, to try to generate more sales, or to try to generate more buys. What is it that you're doing? Because if you're not doing any of that, why would they make you a manager? Just because you a black man and you feel that reparations supposed to be owed to you when we're living proof of reparations? You know, I ain't gonna get into that topic, but that topic is coming. Oh yeah, that topic is coming. But right now we focused on these fucking modern day dudes. That's what we need to call them. Modern day dudes, because a man is not what most of these motherfuckers is. Modern day dudes, that's what I'm gonna call y'all motherfuckers nowadays. When I see one, that's a modern day dude. When I hear one talk, that's a modern day dude. I ain't gonna call you out your name and say you a bitch or you know, I'm gonna say that's a modern day dude. You see what I'm saying? That's what a modern day dude is. These dudes nowadays are so fucking selfish. They don't give a fuck about nothing. Hell, half of them probably barely give a fuck about themselves. Because if you gave a fuck about yourself, you wouldn't be doing some of the things that you're doing. You would be putting yourself in some of these situations you're putting yourself in. So you can't give a fuck about yourself. And if you don't give a fuck about yourself, you can't never give a fuck about nobody else. It starts within. If you can't give a fuck about yourself, if you don't take pride in yourself, you will never take pride in your family, or you will never take pride in, you know, anything, because you don't, it doesn't start with self. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the men nowadays, man, it's almost like I was telling somebody, right? A part of life is evolution, right? As time go on, people adapt, things adapt, and they have to adapt in order for them to survive. That's what evolution is, right? So you look at a time where you had the traditional women, the women, like I said, if y'all know, I'm looking around just because I'm in the parking lot making this video, a lot of cars driving, and I'm just, you know, I'm an observant, watching type of person, you know what I mean? I hope it's not distracting y'all, but if it is distracting y'all, then hey man, fuck it. But when you look at the beginning of time, right, and you look at modern day men, what did I say? They were the men that went to work every day, that didn't let their emotions govern them, right? And they was the one who provided the household. So if you got the woman that's the head of the household, how can she be submissive to a man that's not really a man, who's a modern day dude? You meet the woman, her hands rougher than the man nowadays. You meet the woman, she the one who talking about, oh, I gotta do this for my boyfriend or husband, for Valentine's Day, for his birthday. It's the woman. It's the woman. But now y'all want to get mad when the women start to turn the roles around and start playing on y'all idiots. Y'all stupid, weak motherfuckers. Y'all want to cry and bitch and say, oh, this, that. That's why I say, when I seen Brittany Renner, what she done to PJ, I felt good. I support that type of shit. Break them weak motherfuckers. And then you got all them weak ass men in the comments saying, oh man, she a hoe, yada, yada, yada. He knew that. He knew the consequence of fucking without a rubber on. You knew that shit feel good as a motherfucker. I guarantee you that he ain't nutting her one time for her to get pregnant. That was a consistent thing of them fucking without a rubber on, and that motherfucking pussy feeling good to him, and he just coming inside of it like he got a goddamn condom on, like he's mentally prepared to be a fucking father, like he know that the woman that he got ain't a bullshit woman that fuck around with any type of nigga that got money, right? So guess what? So when you suffer the consequences of that, which is being put on child support, or which is catching the STD, why we gotta feel sorry for you weak motherfuckers? You sorry ass weak motherfuckers. You ain't no good no way. The only reason why you in the position that you in, just simply because you know how to dribble a goddamn basketball. You take that away from me, you ain't shit. You will fall into the 85% percentile of motherfuckers that ain't worth a motherfucking thing. And some of y'all motherfuckers will make it to the NBA just because y'all can dribble and shoot good and still be broke within 15 to 20 years because y'all don't know what it means to be a man. You still governed by your emotions. The coach tell you something, you want to request a trade. Now you do that every team you go to. Now you labeled as a player that's hard to deal with. These are the modern day men the modern day dudes that we got to deal with. You know, the old school men, the Mikes, the Kobe's, these was guys that stayed with one team. You know, I understand Mike went to, the Wizards, but I'm just saying for the most part, stayed with one team who rarely missed games unless they really was hurt. These motherfuckers now are missing games because they nail hurt. You see what I'm saying? Just because they nail hurt or just because they got a cold, they missing the game. What they got to do with anything? You can play, right? You can walk, you can run, you can do everything that you could do if you wasn't sick. So why can't you play? You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why these women had to adapt. Because if not, they would have to be they wouldn't be able to have anything, because now you rarely have men who have that type of mentality or that type of stability, man. That shit rarely exists in today's age. And if it do exist, they're not putting a lot of light on it just because of this way of living is what's, pushed. But like I say, you look at the guys, man, that just dealing with girls and, they first time moving out their mama house is with a female. And they moving out her mama house into the female spot. They ain't both moving out the same. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's hard for, in my opinion, for women to not be on that type of time. Real talk. And we gonna blame them and we gonna be mad at them just because they adapted, because they don't want to be hurt, just because they don't want to not have. We gonna bash them. Oh, man. But, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all up too long, man. I just had to kind of come on and speak my piece with this, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you keep them comments coming down low, because as long as them comments coming, or regardless if they coming, but for sure, when they coming, I'm gonna have content coming out for you guys, man. So y'all stay tuned, man, and, I'll see y'all probably I ain't gonna say probably in the next video. Peace.